And you're welcome back to the polls. Now, this is from politics of insult and name-calling. That's the caution from the National Elections Committee of the New Patriotic Party as it lays out modalities for the upcoming primaries of the governing party. Now, we can hear from the chairperson of the committee, Peter Menu, address the press a while ago. But one special guest is here, Francis Addai Nimoh. He's a leading member of the New Patriotic Party. He's been monitoring the reorganization process of the governing New Patriotic Party. It's such a pleasure to have you in studio, sir. You've been away, out of the radar, some would say. How has life been for you, and where have you been, actually?
Well, I've been in Ghana. Thank you for having me. Right. And I've been in the country as a private citizen, though I'm not a government official or a public official. I still offer my services to my party, the New Patriotic Party, and then also practice my profession as a civil engineer. And so I have been around. I have not gone anywhere.
You haven't gone anywhere?
At all. I mean, this is a fine country, a beautiful country for all of us that we need to put our efforts together to ensure its total development.
Right. And knowing your role and how you've been supportive of the New Patriotic Party, many were expecting that at least you would have been vociferous. I mean, coming out and speaking on issues of national interest. Was it your personal choice just to be on the sidelines, watch and see what was happening?
No, blessed, of course. Right. It has been my wish to have been offered some kind of a position to serve my country through my party, which is in government now. Right. But of course, that is not my decision. Right. The decision lies with the appointing authority. And so once I have not been offered anything, and then from the private sector point of view, then I have to also do what I can do to support my party in government. It is not deliberate on my part. So for now, I have not been part of this administration.
But you have availed yourself?
Of course. Well, I've had encounter with the president, and then that was way back in 2017. And the issue was if I could look at the road fund, but then the law also didn't permit the appointment of an administrator to the road fund or the chief executive to the road fund. So until that law is amended,
it wasn't going to be possible.
It wasn't going to be possible.
But here's definitely another opportunity for the reorganization process of your party to take place. It's shaping up, started from the polling level to constituency to regional, and then we are looking forward to the national level as well. What's your impression about the reorganization process of the NPP?
Well, the focus is on the party because the desire of the party now is to set a new record where we will go beyond the 8-year cycle, which has been the trend since the commencement of the Fourth Republic. So anything that we can do as a party to come into effect, this new record of going into 12 years, 16 years, we are all committed in ensuring it.
12, 16? So it's not just breaking the 8 and doing one term and that's all?
Not at all.
You have a grand vision as a political party?
Yes.
Staying on for 16 years?
Why not? If the opportunity is there and Ghanaians will offer us the vote, why not? So there are 3 factors, and one of them is tied to the internal race of the party, which I'm glad that today you are putting these questions to me. Because that goes into the level of the internal cohesion or the unity amongst members of the party, which will affect us or which will have an impact on the 2024 general elections.
Definitely. And for you, I'm sure that you've monitored some of the reports that we had in terms of issues relating to violence, the burning down of some party offices, and some of these issues that were cropping up. What do you suspect may have been the root cause of all of this? And going forward, how do you feel that your party could avert?
Well, those incidents are uncalled for, they are unpleasant, and they could have been avoided, in my view. The process of the internal race commenced with the elections of our base unit, which is the polling station elections. And once that one is over, then the subsequent elections can be conducted smoothly. Our internal elections can be illustrated by the construction of a story building, where you have the foundation, the first floor, second floor, all the way to the roof. So at the polling station level, right from its commencement, there were some challenges. I know some polling station executives who were denied access to forms, nomination forms, so that they could participate in the process. And that was uncalled for because prior to the commencement, the National Council of our party had met and approved of the guidelines for the conduct of all these elections. And the National Council members include all regional chairmen as well as regional secretaries who see to the implementation of national policies in the various regions. So why would you go and approve of guidelines, and when you get back to your region, you want to circumvent the same guidelines that you have approved? So initially, I mean, you could hear of a lot of brouhaha.
Right.
And as it is now, even some constituencies are still in court. I can mention Sunyani East.
Right.
German South to the elections has not been conducted. Doma Central, Fomena,
Right.
my own constituency, Mampong.
Oh, it's also affected.
Yeah, it's also affected. They are in court. And just because the conduct of the polling station elections didn't go well. But overall, some constituencies went on.
Right.
Regional elections have been held. Now we have the national officers elections.
Right. But for you, what does that say about the state of the NPP as we speak? Do you feel that all is well with the party?
No. I will not say that all is well with the party. I know there are many party members who are aggrieved. Some who couldn't have the opportunity to be given free and fair opportunity to contest. Right. So definitely they will be unhappy. You know, some who have been sidelined will definitely be unhappy. And so we have a Herculean task ahead of us. In our effort to break the age in 2024 is to ensure that the level of cohesion, the unity in the party comes back, it is strengthened. Everybody is recognized and respected.
And one of the very critical points for you as a political party will be the national level elections, which is happening just a week away from now. Looking at some of the mistakes that, as you are pointing out, which happened at the polling station, constituency and regional levels, what lessons should be drawn from there to avert that crisis again at the national level? Well,
I'm happy that the National Elections Committee, which is chaired by Peter McMeno, he has been a former national chairman, he's been a former regional chairman, he's been a campaign manager. So, I mean, all the details about the party, Peter McMeno is fully aware. He knows so many people in the party. What I'm expecting of him is that his committee should be tough and ensure free and fair elections at the Accra Sports Stadium come 16th July 2022. Right. And I read in the press conference that he gave that they are warning aspirants of vote buying. And I'm happy that it should come from the committee. I hope it is part of the rules of engagement for the conduct of these elections, that vote buying, if it is established and evidence is adduced, the aspirant will suffer some punishment or sanctions.
But some say that's the order of the game now. Politics is more or less about money now, and that's where your political party is simply getting to.
No, that is danger, and there is danger in it. And we need to speak against, and I will speak against it. We cannot allow monetization to dictate our leaders, the selection or election of our leaders. Look, blessed, if it happens so, then anybody who may have the opportunity to raise some huge funding and secure a position, and the person may not be able to perform, the person may trample upon your fundamental human rights, what complaints can you bring forward? At the end of the day, the person says, you gave me the mandate for 4 years and allow me to exercise that mandate that you delivered to me. So, in the party now, yes, monetization. I mean, what happened at our various regional elections? I mean, it leaves much to be desired, and we need to streamline things. And I'm hoping that after these elections, by 2026, we should come out with stringent measures that will curb the monetization.
But even in your backyard, which is the Ashanti region, the belief is that your front is not even unified going into the next elections. Are you worried about this trend?
Of course, I should be worried. I should be worried because to break the 8 requires strong party cohesion and from the base. Right. And so Ashanti region, with millions of voters there, we cannot allow disunity to be the order of the day. Right. So now the situation lies strongly at the doorstep of the regional chairman, Mr. Bernard Ntwibo-Siakon, who is the regional chairman. He is the chairman for the 3rd term. Granted that he will not contest again in 2026 when his tenure will end, what will be his legacy for the party in Ashanti region? And for me, there are 2 things I would suggest to him. One is the unity of the party to be intact throughout his tenure up to 2026 if you hand over. And then 2, he should be able to find an edifice that will be the accommodation owned by the party itself in Ashanti region, but not in a rented place. And so there is a lot of work for him to do. Not only him, together with his other regional executives. I suppose that he's trying to reach out to the other contestants in the race for the regional chairmanship as well as the other people. Right. But he must demonstrate that graciously and magnanimity to everybody.
After the national level elections, obviously there's another roadmap for the party, which is the election of the presidential candidates. We've seen some names come up already.
Okay. How many names?
You are here. You're here, so it's a good time to be asking you whether or not you'd be, of course, joining the contest.
Well, I noticed that Joy News, you always come up with names here and there.
Yeah, but we are hearing the names, actually. Yeah.
And these are all expressions of what?
Right.
Interest or intent. Right. Expressions of interest or intent. We are not there yet. Okay, perhaps some of the names that you are even hearing, when nominations are open or when nominations is open, they may not go. Okay, right. So Addai Nimoh sitting here, definitely my interest is to lead the New Patriotic Party, which I started in 2014, and that interest is still pending and it's still in effect. So at the appropriate time, I will set the ball rolling. And so, yes, I have the interest to lead the party. I have never abandoned this interest.
Right. What are your chances now, knowing that at least there are 2 names that are confirmed? You're likely to run against the vice president.
Are 2 names confirmed?
And then Alan Chermatin. These are known friends
and
of yours.
And those names are already confirmed?
Well, I mean, we've heard them.
Okay.
They've not denied the fact that some of these names are out there, just as you're also placing your intent out there. These are people you've worked with. What are your chances now? I mean, given the fact that the situation is not exactly the same in 2014
Absolutely.
when you were running.
In 2014, the party was in opposition.
Right.
Okay. Then 7 of us went into that contest, and I placed 3rd. And that must be on record.
Right.
It must be on record. I placed 3rd. Chermatin placed 2nd, and Nana Akufo-Addo placed 1st, right. And eventually became the president of the Republic of Ghana. So if there are any names that I expect Joy News to be talking about, they should be talking about.
Your name should also be coming up, right?
Absolutely.
Because
Absolutely.
you haven't abandoned that dream
at all. And the chances are there. The chances are there. And on this platform, let me tell our viewers and for you to know that, in my opinion, the party needs a new face to lead the party as part of our efforts to break the 8.
What will you be bringing on board if you're giving the nod to lead the New Patriotic Party?
I'm coming on board with a strong unity for the party. Okay? There's a saying that if 2 elephants fight, it's the grass that suffers. So we need that unifying person who can bring both sides together and say that, look, with this person, the party is able to achieve that strong unity that will ensure that we can win 2024.
Right.
Then you also come with an unblemished character, because we need to have that unblemished character and to market it to Ghanaians, you know. Naturally, when people have served for 8 years, there is that facial fatigue.
Right.
And we have seen it since 1993. Former President Mills, then Vice President to Jerry Rawlings, in the year 2000, as sitting Vice President, he could not win after NDC.
You feel it was due to the fatigue then?
Yes, it's also one of the factors.
So
but what would be the message? What was the message? Because if there was anything that at that time he had to do, he should have been part of the.
So the NPP is in need of a new face.
Absolutely, in my opinion. And this position which I have expressed has also been espoused by my good friend Kennedy Japan, that we need a new face. Right. I mean, in 2008, for instance, then candidate Nana Akufo-Addo, who served in J. Kufuor's administration, could also not win. And then in the year 2016, I mean, former President Mahama, as a sitting president, 8 years, he could not win.
So that's a fantastic trend analysis of what's happening. But why should it be Addai Nimoh?
And that is the justification I'm giving to you, that we need a person who comes with a strong unity for the party, that the grassroots of the party, they identify with that person. Then we have a new language that we should be able to articulate to Ghanaians.
Okay, we'll be wrapping up shortly, but there's finally the issue about one of the critical factors that will either give you or any candidate that will emerge as the leader of the party a chance to run and to successfully win the elections, which is about the performance of this current government. What's your assessment, briefly?
Well, it has not been easy. In this second term, it has not been easy. And right now, we have to get back to the IMF for a bailout. Right. And the situation is critical. And I will not sit here that it is a pleasant situation. It is a critical situation for the entire country. Our debt is so huge, unsustainable debt. Right. And we don't have the revenues to be able to service our debt, pay our compensation to government workers, and pay to all the statutory funds payment that should go. Right. And so we need a bailout. And so that is an issue which is now confronting all of us. And I expect that those in government will be sober in articulating our views. Look, Blessed, whether you go to the IMF through the left or you go to the IMF through the right, it is still IMF bailout that we are looking for, because we are cash strapped. And so we need. So definitely, government performance is one of the factors that will impact
on your ability,
our ability to break the eight. The other two factors I mentioned are the unity and then the new phase. So the government performance is one.
Giving that account briefly,
from
do you
now,
have the chance?
From now, yes. From now, for the next 2 years, in this course of the IMF bailout, I expect government to be more prudent in the use of the resources that will be available to government for the next 2 years. That will ensure that there is relief for the ordinary people in terms of cost of food and cost of other essentials, medicine and other transport fares. We should be able to stabilize the system. Inflation is high. We should be able to bring it to single digits. And so for the next 2 years, there's so much work for government to do. And so sometimes I also side with the call for the president to look at the possibility of reshuffling.
You're supporting reshuffling?
Absolutely, I support it.
In fact, since you're talking about reshuffling, there's a group that we understand is also calling for that. The loyal members of the NPP, Maxwell Nyanyo is the general secretary of that group. Maxwell, briefly tell us about your concerns so we can wrap up on this conversation. Maxwell, if you can hear me, I'm just asking about your concerns. Why are you calling for a reshuffle in government now?
Thank you, Blessed. This concern is not coming from only the members of Loyal Patriots. My honorable party executive, Honorable Addai Nimoh, is even making the same statement. So we are asking that there should be a reshuffle for the government to have grounds. As we are talking about, it looks as if there's no fireworks in the government. Some ministers or other government appointees, some of them are sleeping on the job. We want the president to either reshuffle some of them or completely ask some of them to stay back for new crop of party members who are capable.
Right, but what I see in your statement is that you're talking about the fact that you are a party that you have the men. I mean, I remember that part of your statement indicating that you have the men, and so the president would have to bring in these new persons to serve. Is it that you have a list that you're going to present to the president or something?
Not really. When I say the NPP have the men, I'm not even saying. The president himself said it during the run-up to the 2016 elections. NPP is a party of capable men. Honorable Addai Nimoh is sitting there. He's a capable person in our party. Okay, I am not saying that he should be given a ministerial appointment. No, I'm talking in general terms that there are men in our party. That if there are some of the party people who are in position now, not doing what is expected of them or doing what their work is not up to the standard, it behoves on the president to, as at now, listen to the people. If his own party members, as I'm talking to you, I'm a party member, I'm a constituency party member. All of us in the Loyal Patriots, we are party members. We all did our best to bring this party to power. And so if we are coming out to say that, it's behoves on the president to listen to us. You see, this is not an opposition party calling for it, even though there might be members in the opposition calling for it. This time around, it is we party members.
Right. So are you going to write, what concrete steps are you going to take? Are you going to write to the president in demand for that?
Oh yes, the release that we've made available since last release, and I'm talking about it. We have sent a copy to the president. Right. We have sent a copy to the vice president's office, and we know for sure that the government is going to listen to us and make sure that what we are saying, that we should reshuffle the ministers and make some of them even go and sit down. Those who are wobbling cannot do the work. You should do that for us.
All right then. Maxwell, I'm grateful for your time. Honorable, so there we are, the point you're making about a reshuffle. So you also support some of these calls?
Yes.
But is it not late? I mean, 2 years won't make a change.
I mean, the second term is 1.5 years old. We've just begun the 7th month of the second year. Yes. You know, Blessed, reshuffle is a tool that is applied by an appointing authority with the aim at revamping or reintroducing dynamism in your administration. Right. Somebody has been a minister for finance, for trade and industry, for roads and highways, for communications, for regional foreign affairs, for health, getting to 6 years. Right. Even those people themselves, in my opinion, they may be tired because the work that they are doing has become so routine. Right. So when the file is even being brought to them to study the file, already he knows what is in it. He knows the instructions or the directions or directives he's going to issue. So for the people themselves, for those appointees themselves, I believe that some of them may be tired, that they themselves may want a change in what they want to do. Anyway, that is why when you do reshuffling, you introduce new persons or old people, the existing ones, appointees, you change their positions. They also go to learn in other sectors.
So that they could help
the
party as well. As we wrap up, and because we don't have all of the time now, so what would be your message to delegates and party faithful who are watching us now, who are on the lookout, as you're saying, that you may be rolling out some activities in the coming days?
Well, for our party delegates, we have an arduous task ahead of us to break the 8. Together we can make it. We can make it happen. No two ways about it. We need to come together on the basis of love and ensure that there is unity amongst us as individual members of the party. Let us uphold the principles of the party and its motto, which is development in freedom. They should examine all of us who put ourselves forward to take up the leadership race of the party and identify the most suitable person at this moment who will lead the party and be able to break the 8 for the party. For opposition, no. For those who are aggrieved, those who are dissatisfied, we may be many, including myself, but we have to forgive. We can't forget, but let us forgive and come together and fight hard, work hard, identify the new face, together with government performance and our own internal cohesion. I believe that we shall retain power come 2024.
All right then, and that's the message from Honorable Addai Nimoh to the party faithful within the New Patriotic Party. Expect your election headquarters to be on the grounds for you on that day when the national executive elections will be taking place. And that's all we have for you here on The Pulse. My name is Blessed Sugan. Don't forget to log on to myjoyonline.com. It's your hub for all of our latest stories. Next is Let's Talk Showbiz. But that's happening after this break. Please.